Welcome all once again. We have seen that how this image is created with the help of the MATLAB program that we wrote for unit step response. Now we know that we have selected the characteristic, so you can extract the information. Just click on the bubble. You can extract the information as rise time. So rise time here is 0.293, but the rise time is defined from 10 to 90% of the final steady state value. Now, if you want to change the measurement of rise time from 0 to 100%, then just make a right click on this image file, go to properties, then go to options. You are finding show rise time from 10 to 90%. So just make a change here, make it 0, make this 100, make a just click on enter. So once you click on the enter, you will find that the rise time has been shifted. Now it is measured between 0 and 100% of the final steady state value. So this is for an underdamped system. You can shift this information anywhere on the image file. Okay, just shift the cursor and you can shift this block anywhere. Similarly, this is the peak time. So you can find the peak time at 0.691 seconds. The overshoot is 25.4%. This is the magnitude overshoot. That peak amplitude is 1.25, approximately 25%. So that is why it is 1.25. So you can also shift this block wherever you want. So we'll keep it here and we'll keep this here. This is settling time. Settling time is 1.68%. Now again, the settling time is based on the tolerance band, so you can change the percentage of tolerance band. So this was for 2%. If I want the tolerance for 5%, for example, and if I make an enter here, then you can find that this tolerance band has been increased. So let us keep it at 2% only. So I will change this to 2%. So you can find that here the tolerance band has been changed. And this is the final value because it was a unit step response, and response is almost, the output response almost follows the input. So the final value is equal to 1. So this is how you can extract the information from the image file that we have obtained from the MATLAB unit step response. Now we'll go back to our presentation. So we have seen this program for unit step function, and we have extracted the information of various time domain specifications from that image file. Now this is our second function, that is RLOCUS function. So RLOCUS stands for root locus. Root locus is a time domain analysis for analyzing the control system. So root locus is constructed when the open loop transfer function is known in pole zero form. This is very important. So if you want to plot the root locus for a control system, then the open loop transfer function should be represented in pole zero form. So this is a general representation given. G of s is equal to k times s plus z1 into s plus z2 upon s to the power n s plus p1 into s plus p2. So this, the numerator term indicates the zeros of the system and the denominator terms indicates the poles of the system. Now this s to the power n, this n power of s indicates the type of the system, which type of system it is, whether it is type 0, type 1 and type 2. And if we solve this complete denominator polynomial, then the highest power of s indicates the order of the system. So the order of the system depends on the highest power of s after simplifying, whereas the type of the system depends on this particular part, s to the power n. So this n indicates the type of the system. Now depending on the location of the poles in the s plane, now this is an s plane, you are finding here sigma on x axis and j omega on y axis. So j omega is the imaginary axis, sigma is the real axis. So depending on the location of the poles, we can define the stability of the system. So root locus can be used to define the stable region of the system, at what values of gain k the system is stable, when it is becoming unstable. So if the poles or the root locus is on the left hand side of the s plane, then it is called as stable region. If the poles or root locus goes to the right hand side of the s plane, then it is called as unstable region. And if the poles lies on the imaginary axis, then it is called as limitedly stable. So depending on the location of the poles and the locus of the poles, we can define the stable, unstable and limitedly stable region of the root locus. Now this is the MATLAB program for plotting the root locus. I have taken an example of the transfer function g of s is equal to k into s square plus 2s plus 4 upon s into s plus 4 into s plus 6 into s square plus 1.4s plus 1. So in this function you will find that the in the numerator the highest power of s is 2, and if you solve this denominator polynomial, then you will get the highest power of s as 5. Okay, so we have already seen what is clear all, how it operates or how it changes the program. Then we have also seen numerator, NUM and denominator. Now in this case, the highest power of the denominator polynomial, you can see the coefficient for the s is 1. Then if you solve this particular polynomial equation, then the next power of s has the coefficient as 11.4, then 39, then 43.6, then 24 and then 0. So this 0 is related to the s to the power 0, this 24 as s to the power 1, then this is s square, s cube, s to the power 4 and s to the power 5. So since the denominator polynomial has the highest power of s as 5, so there will be 5 coefficients in the numerator polynomial also. Starting from s to the power 0 it is 4, then for s it is 2, then for s square it is 1, and the remaining 2 power of s is missing in the numerator, so they are replaced by zeros. So the length of the numerator and the denominator coefficients of the polynomial should be same. It should be maintained same while writing the program. This we have to take care of. Now this r locus is the function that is used to plot the root locus for this transfer function g of s. So we have already defined numerator and denominator. So we have defined the transfer function as num and den. So r locus of num and den will plot the root locus for this g of s. Grid we have already discussed. Title also we have already discussed. Now we'll go back to the MATLAB. So I have already typed this program and saved it as r1 rl1.m in the folder MATLAB http svpct. So you are finding this program already saved in that folder. So we will run this program. So I will click on the run button. After the execution of the program, you will find this image file. Now you are finding, we know that there were the highest power of s was 5. It means that there are 5 poles, and in the denominator the highest power of s is 2, so there are two zeros, so there are two zeros and 5 poles. So you are finding that you can maximize this image. I will just click on this plus button, and you can magnify the image. Click on this part to get magnified. So you are finding here these are the two zeros, and there should be 5 poles. So these are the two complex conjugate poles. One pole is at origin, and these are two real poles. So the cross mark indicates the poles and the bubble indicates the zeros. Now if I again magnify it at this particular point, so you are finding that this root locus, this is the left hand side of the root locus. So this part of the locus is a stable part, and to the right hand side it is an unstable part. So you are finding that the root locus is crossing the imaginary axis. So after crossing this imaginary axis, the system will become unstable. Similarly here also you will find that the root locus is crossing the imaginary axis in the negative direction. Now the crossing of the j omega axis is very important. So we can, if I click on this particular point, let us go back to the original diagram. So you can extract the information from any point of the root locus. If I want to know the information from on this pole, so I can just make a click on it, and just like we were doing it for time response, we can take the information. So at any point when you click, you will get the gain of that point, then the location of the pole, then how much is the damping at that point, what is the overshoot at that point, percentage overshoot, and what is the frequency at that point in radian per seconds. So this complete information you can get it from the root locus. So from for any root locus you can get this information. Okay, so you can shift it here. If I want to know for a particular zero, I can get it from that. So this is all about the execution of root locus using the MATLAB program. So we will go back to our presentation again. So we have seen this program for root locus. This was the plot that we have obtained, and this was the magnified image. So you can, if you want to uh, magnify the image and see it properly, then you can do this using that plus sign, zoom. You can zoom the image. Now the third function is the Bode function. So I am just going to introduce this, and then we'll see this function in our next video. So it is used in frequency domain analysis for plotting the magnitude and phase frequency plots. The function, transfer function, should be represented in as a sinusoidal transfer function. So you can see that the s is replaced by j omega, c of j omega upon r of j omega. So you are finding the function is represented in terms of sinusoidal transfer function. And this is the standard representation of this function, 1 upon 1 minus u square plus twice zeta u, where u is omega by omega n. It is called as the normalized driving frequency. So we will see in our next video about the Bode function, how to plot the Bode plot using Bode function. Thank you.